Hey everyone, welcome to today's video. Welcome to my channel. Today we are ranking my blush collection. I have just over 50 blushes, and I know that that's one of the reasons why some people only pick their top 10 and then rank those. But I think that it's actually quite fun to see how someone would rank their entire collection. So that's why I thought we could have a look at every single blush in my collection. And when I'm looking at it now, having it all laid out here in front of me, there are like a good 10 blushes that I reach for all the time, and they're all quite the same. So yeah, the top 10 is quite boring when it comes to shades, but it's just like it really comes down to formula for me. And then from some of those formulas, I have other shades that I really like. But those are then like shades I tend to reach for a little bit less. So that's why those are like a little bit lower down. We're gonna start at the bottom and we're going to work our way to the top. And I'm going to swatch everything for you. So that's why I'm wearing short sleeves, because my arms are going to be one big blush mess once we're done with this. So wish me luck. Here we go. Blush number 1. At the bottom, I have actually, well, it's like a mixed spot, you could say. It's cream blush. I only have 2 cream blushes. One of them is by Catrice, the other one is by Chanel. And I don't really like cream blush, but I do like having it around because it's easy to use sometimes in the summertime. But I'm just not a big fan. So let me swatch the Catrice first. This is their Matte to Cheek Blush Stick in 030 Game of Roses. And it's right there. And then we have the Chanel Le Blush Crème de Chanel Chamande. This was limited edition, I believe. But it's a very nice, like, bright poppy shade. And that's really nice. So there we have the 2 cream blushes I own. All the way at the bottom for my powder blushes then is the Essence My Glow Passion Blush. And the reason why this is at the bottom is because this is just not a blush shade for me. This personally to me is more like a bronzer. The packaging is adorable. Maybe if you have a deeper skin tone, this may be nice on you. But to me, when I wore this, it just reminded me of a grandma. This is the kind of blush shade that I always saw my grandma reach for in the 80s. So this is not my jam. It just isn't. Now you're going to be quite surprised, I think, because there are quite a few high-end blushes at the bottom of this list. You're probably going to be surprised that, for instance, Becca is at the bottom for me. I tend to only wear this combination. So when I wear this product, I only reach for these 2 products. This is Champagne Pop, also not my favorite highlighter by Becca. And then we have Flower Child. And while this is very pretty, it's a bit of a shade that I feel isn't anything special to me. So that's why this ended up in my bottom half. I also have some MAC in here because I'm not a big fan of MAC blush. I'm just not. One that's quite special, this was limited edition, is Azalea Blossom. It's like purpley pink. It's very light though. So I'm hoping this will show up. But it's like a very nice lavender shade, like a lilac-y light lavender shade. I love this in the winter time on myself. It's right here. Another MAC blush, and I almost decluttered this when I did my declutter earlier this year. I already had enough products to back to MAC, so I decided to hang on to it for now. This is another limited edition blush. This is a mineralized blush in Fresh Honey. It's right here. It's a very nice peachy tone shade. But I do feel it's just a little bit too orange. And as you will see, we have another blush coming up from the drugstore that is very similar to this that I like a lot better. Also very much in the bottom half of my entire blush collection is shimmery blushes. I prefer a matte blush because that allows me to go in with highlight and then the highlighter just looks a lot better. However, I do like shimmery blush when I'm not, like if I'm going for like more of a no makeup kind of look. So they have a very particular role in my blush collection. And that also goes for the Bleeding Heart Baked Highlighter by I Heart Makeup. But on me, this is not a highlighter. This is definitely a blush shade. And it's like a very nice pinky shade with a bit of gold. So it's right here on the end and it's very, very shimmery. So I can see why they market this as a highlighter. But because it has quite a lot of pink to it, I'm not sure if you can see that. It has a very pink undertone and that just makes it more of a blush on me. Moving on to very affordable. This is the Wet n Wild Rosé Champagne Blush. This is a really nice, like barely there kind of blush. It's just one of those things that I kind of forget I have, even though I do like it. You can really definitely barely see that. It's right there. In that same vein as the other Becca one I showed you, this is the Champagne Split in Prosecco Pop and Pamplemousse. And this tops the one with Flower Child in it for me because I like the blush shade in here a lot better. And Prosecco Pop looks nicer on me than Champagne Pop. So that's why this is a little bit higher up the list. It's a really nice bright shade, but because this comes in a duo, I just don't tend to reach for it a whole lot. Again, I have other blush shades in my collection that are very similar to this. I'm just hanging on to this because it's Becca and because it has those two highlighters in, and sort of like the blush to me was like an added bonus. Another MAC blush is Warm Soul. This is another one of their mineralized blushes. I hate the new packaging. I can barely get it to open. This is a stunning neutral tone blush. I just don't really reach for it a whole lot. It's one of those shades that I do like. It looks really pretty on me. It's just something that, again, is very particular because it has that more like peachy undertone. Not a fan. A blush I used to love and that I hang on to because I still know I love it. It's just, again, that I've tried other blushes that I like a little bit more. And that is my Illamasqua blush in Naked Rose. This is like a mauvey pink blush. It has a bit of a purple undertone. And in the fall time, this looks stunning with like a berry lip. It's just something that I haven't reached for in a long time. It's one of those things where I'm like, I just need to grab for it again. Because look at that. That's my kind of blush shade. I love this. Then a blush that you can no longer buy is Bella Bomba by Benefit. This is the more pinky toned version of Coralista. And because I love that, I ended up buying this. This is just a lot more pink toned. It has quite a bit of shimmer, but I don't have anything like it in my collection, which is why I keep it around, because this is just, it's a really stunning shade. I just don't have a lot of true like pink tone blushes. So that's why I sort of keep it around, even though I don't really go for a blush like this very easily. Another MAC one, and this is actually a mineralized skin finish. This is in the shade Lust, and it was again in a limited edition collection. This is another one of those shimmery blushes that I like to wear in the summertime. So again, a very particular thing that it does. It's also a little bit more like pink tone as well. It's quite similar to Bella Bomba, just a bit more sheer and a bit more of a highlighting quality to it. I love this product, but I only wear it in the summertime. This is by Flormar. They're a Turkish brand, and this is their terracotta powder in marble pink gold. I believe this is officially a bronzer. It's not a bronzer. It has peach, bronze, and like golds, and like a little bit of pink in here. And this again, like, it's like the bronzy version of that mineralized skin finish by MAC. It works the same way. It's just much more affordable than MAC is because it's more like drugstore priced. And it's just a really, really nice product. Makes for a very nice glowy cheek in the summertime. Also in that same vein, the Summer of Love Triple Baked Bronzer by I Heart Makeup. Again, this is not a bronzer on me. It does something very similar as the Flormar thing does. I put it in a weird spot. It's right there. That's the I Heart Makeup Summer of Love Triple Baked Bronzer. It's a really nice one. It has that peachy goldness to it. So on some skin tones, this might work as a bronzer, but I find it a bit too orange for me. But it's a very nice blush. Then a blush that I just haven't used a whole lot because it's quite new to me is the Joe Fresh blush in Hydrangea, Hortensia. We have a very nice matte neutral blush. This is a bit more pink tone than what I usually go for, but it's really nice. It's subtle. This will be very nice in the wintertime. It's just one of those things that I have so many blushes that I love. And this is a Canadian drugstore brand, and I got it in a swap. So I don't want to get rid of it because I do really like it and I love the formula. I just don't reach for it a whole lot. The same thing goes for the other blush I got in that swap. This is the Vizanti blush in Cyan. I feel this may be a very similar shade to what we just swatched. Yeah, it's very similar to the Joe Fresh. But again, I have a million of these blush colors. It's right up my street. Like the formulas of these, it's just something that I really need to put into rotation to really try them out. X Factor Cream Puff Blush in the shade Alluring Rose. This is a stunning blush, but again, a little bit more of a sheen to it, which is why I don't reach for it. And this is quite brown toned as well. So when I swatch this for you, it is a little bit deeper. than the other ones, for instance, that I just showed you, but it's very stunning. It's just something that doesn't go with every single look. Then we have the Illuminating Blush by Catrice. These have been discontinued, but I hang on to these because these are my favorite Catrice blushes. I've tried other single blushes by them since then, and I just don't like them as good as these ones. This is in the shade Coral Me Maybe, and this is a really nice corally shade. It's a very nice, soft, like peachy coral. Really nice. It has a bit of luminosity to it, but it's not like shimmery. So that's what I like about this. Then we have the Illuminating Blush, but also by Catrice in La Vie en Rose. This is one that I've used more than the coral one because this is, again, my kind of blush shade. And that one is right there. And it's a very subtle blush shade, but I love this. It's really, really stunning. And now remember what I said about my MAC Azalea Blossom blush? That I had a more affordable option that I like better? Wet n Wild. This is in a purple haze, and the ombre effect on this is not as strong as with the MAC, as you can see, but I feel they do something very similarly, for me anyways. I'm sure you can't see it, you can just see my blue vein right there, but that's the Wet n Wild blush right there. Another very subtle blush that I don't think will show up on myself right now is the NARS blush in Sex Appeal. This is one of my favorite blushes for the winter time. It's a very, very soft peachy shade. It's so light that it barely shows up, so only if you're very fair-skinned, that's when this will work. And right there is the NARS. As you can see, it is very, very subtle, but it works really well on me in the winter time. A quite new blush to my collection is the ColourPop blush in Parakeet. And this is a really, really nice, like, corally, peachy shade. And I do have to say that on the website, this looked a lot brighter than it turned out to be in the pan once I got it home, so that was a bit of a misleading campaign, but this is a very unique shade to my blush collection, I find. It's a bit of a reddish coral, you could say. And now we're getting, this is where it got tough for me because the next two blushes I'm about to show you, I love the formula, it's just that I like some of the other shades that I have by this brand better, or I've had those for longer, and those are the Afterglow blushes by Urban Decay. And one of these is currently on my face, so let's start with that. This is Bang, and Bang is, as you can see, a very orange toned red. You only need a very light hand with this, so I think it's definitely one that needs a bit of an instruction, and I'm currently trying to figure out how this works best for me. This is such a unique blush shade, and it's really, really stunning. It has a really nice smooth texture. And then I also have the Afterglow blush in Rapture. This is one that was still on my wish list. It's like a plummy shade almost. Again, I have nothing like this in my collection, which is why I wanted to own it. And apparently Urban Decay is currently reformulating their blushes. So a lot of these are now discontinued, but this is a very nice sort of like, almost like a bruise. It looks like a bruise really, but I think this will really, really look really nice in the fall time. Then we move on to another very fun shade. This is the Just Blushing blush by LA Girl in Just Dance. And yes, this is a bright purple. I wanted to try a full-on purple blush, and in the winter time when I'm super pale, this looks stunning on me. I know, if you look at this, you go like, really? But yes, I have a couple of videos up where I'm wearing purple blush, and it looks really nice actually. It is just, I can't really wear it right now because I'm getting a little bit more of a tan, but let me swatch this for you. There you have purple blush. I think that this may actually be quite similar to Rapture by Urban Decay that I just showed you. I've used this a little bit, but not enough. This is the NYX Ombre Blush in Mauve Me. And this is not really a mauve. I think it's a little bit dark for a mauve, but I do really like it. I definitely like the bottom half of this blush a little bit more than the top half. Oh, it's definitely lighter. So Rapture is right here, and it has much more of a purple undertone. This looks a little bit more brown. Then we have one of my favorite formulas, one of the other blushes, or there are two more blushes coming up by H&M, but this is one that I got more recently, and again, I just haven't tried it a whole lot. This is in the shade Vintage Red, so I think it's good that we're swatching it on the same spot as the other reds. This is a bit more of a pink toned red, I think, so it's definitely different, which is why I wanted to try it out. Let me swatch it. Ooh, wow. The Urban Decay is right above it, and this is just, yes, this is more like a raspberry red. Then we have the Balm Springs blush by the Balm, And I have Balm Beach as well. I like both of these a lot. It's just that I have, like, you can see this is barely used. I love the Balm's formula. I really, really do. I just, you know, I haven't had the time yet to put this on my face. This is a little bit darker, and then I also have Balm Beach, which is a little bit more of like a lighter peachy shade. So this is Balm Beach. So let me swatch those next to each other so you can see. As you can see, two very nice neutral shades. And now we're getting really into like favorites territory. I have a Tarte blush for you. This is in Aquiote, and I'm not sure if you can still get this because some of the blush shades by Tarte have been discontinued. This was my first Tarte blush, and Tarte blushes, of course, notoriously swatch really, really badly. But on the cheek, this looks really nice. This is the only shade I have from their original lineup because I didn't really like any of the other like shades that they had because a lot of Tarte blushes have glitter in them, which I don't like, but there's Aquiote. It's a really nice coral, but it does lean a little bit more peach, and you will see that that's something that I also like. I love coral blush. Also, another brand that I really like, I always like, when I really like a brand, I like owning a neutral and a bright. So a bright one from Too Faced that I'm using that I like very much. It's from their Love Flush line, and this is How Deep Is Your Love. And this is the only, I don't have anything like this in my collection. This is like a watermelon shade. It's like pretty bright. Let me put that here. So there we have Too Faced. And this is like, it's again like a bit more like a coral, but it has a certain like bright pop to it, which I really, really enjoy. The Balm's Lace Insane Blush in Lace. This is my only super bright pink shade. And I love this in the wintertime. It's got a little bit of a blue undertone, so it's quite close to some of the purples that I have to say. But this is so stunning, and this is how I discovered the Balm's blushes. Wow, look at that pigmentation! A blush, again, that is a long-standing favorite, but I don't reach for a whole lot, is the Rival Loop Mono Rouge in Pink Grapefruit. I picked this up when I was traveling in Germany at some point, and this is a German drugstore brand, and this is like another like reddish corally shade, and I really, really like this. I'm not sure if it still swatches very well. It's quite a sheer formula, but that's what I like about it. Now I know why I like it. It's quite similar to the Too Faced one, but it's a bit more sheer than the Too Faced. Then we have a Milani blush. This is their Tea Rose blush, and it's like the one with the little flower petal. When I first got this, I wore this all the time. It's just that I found that I like blushes that are a little bit less pink. So this is quite pink, and that's not something I usually go for, but it does also have a bit of that purpley undertone. So again, it's very unique in my collection, and I love this formula. Then we have another shimmer blush, and this is the only like truly shimmer blush that is really up there for me, and it's the Too Faced Sweethearts blush in Peach Beach, and this is a very stunning shade. It's very neutral though. So if I swatch this for you, it's a peach. As I said, I don't love peach on me, but there's just something about this shade that I think is universally flattering. Now, there's another blush from this line that's a little bit higher up the list, but I love Hourglass blushes. It was just, when I was arranging everything, yeah, but I do like that better, because the Fused Heat by Hourglass is a stunning blush. It's just one that I don't reach for a whole lot. Again, I should put this in a Shop My Stash because this is a summer shade for me. So Diffused Heat, as you can see, it has a lot of red. We have the Too Faced, Hourglass, and Rival Loop. Those three are very close. I would say that the Too Faced one is matte, and then the Diffused Heat one has a little bit of a sheen to it, so the Hourglass, and then the Rival Loop is a little bit more sheer. As I mentioned, we're getting into favorites category. Oh yes. Physicians Formula Butter Blush in the shade Plum Rose. I have another one of these that I prefer because I like it a little bit better, but this shade is a really nice, like stunning, like soft, very soft plum. This is like the sheer version of Rapture. Then we have an OG. This is Milani's Luminoso, again, a peach blush that is very high up the list for it being a peach blush. I do like this a lot. It's very similar to that MAC Fresh Honey blush. It's just, this is a bit more orange than this is. This is a lot more subtle, a lot more wearable. And in the summertime, I do really like this. It's just, Peach is not my favorite shade, and as you can see on me, it pulls quite orange. So that's why I'm saying that it's very close to the MAC one that I have. More peach blushes, here's the thing. Whenever I try makeup at a counter, they insist on putting a peach blush on me because it looks nice. It's just something that I personally never reach for because I feel it doesn't flatter me very well. But yeah, it does work on me. I'm not going to deny it. It's just peaches can be a bit warm on me. This is H&M Beauty Cantaloupe, and this is a very soft peach. And then also compared to Milani Luminoso, it's a lot brighter. It's a bit more sheer. It has a bit of that pinky undertone. So that's a peach I feel I can get down with. I think we're gonna have to move to the other arm. So here we go with another Milani blush. This is in Coral Cove, and this is currently my favorite out of the two that I have because this is just, I live for this. I put this in my Shop My Stash last month. It was in last month's Shop My Stash, and I really like this shade. Then, Bittersweet by Urban Decay. I feel that this is a little bit more pigmented. It works a bit better. This is the LA Girl one right here, which is a bit brighter. I feel that this is a lot more purple than the LA Girl one. Then, the blush that ended up replacing one of my OG favorites, which is the NARS not Sex Appeal, that's the one I still have. The NARS Orgasm blush, which is of course a cult favorite. I prefer Hot Mama by the Balm. I just do. I love this shade on me. It's like a very nice like corally shade with a lot of gold shimmer running through it. So again, not my favorite because of it being a shimmer blush. I don't like that all that much anymore. But this is a lot more pink toned than, or like more of like a coral, I should say, than NARS Orgasm. Butter blush, the other one that I have is in Vintage Rouge. And it's funny because this is more of a peach tone, but I do prefer it on me over the other one. This is a very nice, natural, soft look, and I love this. But it doesn't have too much going on. Again, very NARS Sex Appeal-esque. And then we've reached the top 10. Oh no! So my favorite Too Faced blush at number 10 is Baby Love by Too Faced. This is a very neutral blush. It's very basic. So here we have Baby Love. It's a very nice neutral shade. I love this year round. I can wear it all the time. I just love it. My favorite MAC blush then at number 9. This is the At Dusk Extra Dimension blush. If you know these, then you know this comes with a pattern. And my pattern is very worn down. So this is an OG favorite. It's a very sort of mauve tone, but not too in your face. Like it's not too purpley, because some mauves can be very purple. This is very subtle, very pretty. It's my favorite MAC blush for a reason. More mauves. The Balm In-Stain Blush in Houndstooth. This is another mauve blush. I love mauve blush. You'll see a few more in my top 10. This is number 8. Like the other one that I have, it's very intensely pigmented, so this only needs a very light hand. It's right here. It's a little bit darker than the other ones that I have, but it's still very neutral, and it works well on me. And then my favorite Urban Decay blush at number 7 is Video. This is a bit more of a brown tone, so that was something new for me as well. I don't have a lot of brown blushes that work well on me, but I felt that this does. So if I swatch that for you right there, there we have the Urban Decay. As you can see, it's a bit more cool toned, a little bit more like a cool tone brown. Then of course, in my top 6, I do have to put an Hourglass blush. This is Mood Exposure. This is another mauve blush. What else is new? Like all of the mauves are in my top 10, I can tell you that. And this is really, really nice. So this is Hourglass Mood Exposure. Can we see a theme? I see a theme. My favorite Tarte blush is Seduce. This is, I would say, very similar to Exposed. I just feel that this is a little bit more muted. I feel that Exposed is a little bit more pink than this. This is more of a nude, at least on me, than Exposed, which is why I don't own that. Oh no, this is very pigmented. It didn't swatch horribly, but as you can see, I mentioned there would be a theme here. There is, as you can see. A very affordable, I think this may be the cheapest blush I own, and it's in my top 4. Essence Matte Touch Blush in Blossom Me Up. And this blush, again, it has a bit of a pattern that I've worn down quite a bit because I love this. And this, now I don't remember where I swatched Mood Exposure, but this is a dupe for mood exposure. Then we have the Kiko blush in, this is their Shade Fusion blush in 05 Marsala. Do I need to say more? A mauve tone blush. As I mentioned, there's a theme. And then for our top two, number 2 would be the H&M Tawny Peach blush. This is no longer available. My heart cries a little bit because I just don't want to use this up. I don't think I'll be using it up anytime soon because I've never used up a blush. But this is a very more like a brown tone mauve, you could say. So swatching it right here at the bottom. So again, very close to all the other ones, but this is a bit more like peachy brown. It's a little bit different, but not that much. I just love mauve neutral tone blushes, as you can see. I told you that I've never used up a blush, and if you've seen my Shop My Stashes, you know that this is in there. This is Benefit Coralista. This is one of my oldest blushes, and I'm currently absolutely adoring it. And as you can see, I've hit pan, and I'm currently trying to expand the pan a little bit to see if I can use it up eventually, but this still has a lot of product in there because I tend to just put my brush in at the same spot. And for someone who doesn't like peach blushes, this is still more of a coral, but it's a very sort of like soft coral, and this is so flattering on me, and especially in the summertime because this has a little bit more of a sheen. So since I'm doing this video in the summertime, I felt that this had to get the top spot because I've been using it non-stop for the past 5 months. So this is my current favorite blush. Yes, so that's my entire blush collection. Thank you very much for watching. I hope you enjoyed watching this video. Give it a thumbs up if you liked it. Subscribe to my channel if you'd like to see more by me. I definitely plan on ranking my bronzers too sometime in the future. So stay tuned for that. Thank you very much for watching. I hope you have a great day. See you in my next one. Bye!